Brady, that's coming your way, and so much more here today on NFL Live. You'll see him here in moments. We got Louis Riddick and Dan Orlovsky, Jeff Darlington also with us. Let's get right to the breaking news of the day, though, and for that, we bring in Adam Schefter. As J.J. Watt has chosen his team, he'll be an Arizona Cardinal. Shefty, Watt and the Cardinals surprised some. Why did it end up making sense for both sides?
J.J.Watt. We just didn't hear as much conversation about the Cardinals. We heard about the Buffalo Bills, the Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers. But the fact of the matter is the Cardinals were in there the whole time, and they offered an awful lot to J.J.Watt aside from just the money. Gets a chance to play for a contender in an interesting division out west. And how many players have we seen go out to Arizona to finish their Hall of Fame careers? Emmitt Smith did it. Edgerrin James did it. Kurt Warner did it. Alan Faneca did it, and now J.J. Watt will become the latest in a long line of players to go west during his career. Gets to play opposite Chandler Jones. Gives the Cardinals a tremendous 1-2 combination on the defensive line, and this is a situation where he now gets to follow DeAndre Hopkins, who previously went from Houston to Arizona last offseason, and now J.J. Watt does it this offseason.
Yeah, if you've been to Arizona, you can vouch for the weather. Quite pleasant, maybe a little bit hot sometimes, but not necessarily during football season. Thanks so much, Adam Schefter. You mentioned that combo. No two players have recorded more sacks than Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt since 2012. Now the two will be playing on the same team. The biggest question mark for Arizona's new pass rushing tandem may be health, as Jones was limited to just 5 games last season due to a biceps injury, and Watt has completed a full slate of 16 games just twice in the last 5 seasons. But that also shows just how productive they have been when healthy. So, Louis, what was your reaction? I said some of us were a little surprised. What was your reaction to this news?
Yeah, I was surprised as well, Laura. But then when I looked at the guaranteed money, I really wasn't that surprised, because I think we all know that dollars and cents really is what speaks the loudest in the NFL. And that's not to say that JJ doesn't want to win, and he doesn't want to chase a ring, and he doesn't want to play in a system that benefits him from a statistical standpoint. But the money is nice. Look, $23 million guaranteed, assuming that it's all fully guaranteed. That's a lot of money for someone who comes with the kind of risk that he comes with from an availability standpoint. But make no mistake about it, if he's healthy and he's on the football field, him along with Chandler Jones and along with a guy like Hassan Reddick, if they can get him re-signed, being that he's a pending UFA, and then the rookie, or rather the second-year player, as Isaiah Simmons, as he continues along here, they have a lot of movable chess pieces for defensive coordinator Vance Joseph to move around here. And if they can get some other things cleaned up on this football team, namely not shooting themselves in the foot, not being one of the most penalized football teams in the NFL, and Kyler Murray continues to develop as the leader off the field and someone who can really just galvanize everyone else around him, this is a very intriguing and interesting football team, being that they're in one of the toughest divisions in football.
Truthfully believe that they can win their division, and they weren't going to do it just sitting on their hands. You know, this is a huge signing, and it's the signing. I don't think it's the last one. I think Arizona's looking at this as a 2-year window and make some moves, and this is the first of many moves to come for them, because we have to remember that they have that financial flexibility with Kyler being young and on that rookie deal. And so J.J. Watt is still a capable player. He may not be NFL Defensive Player of the Year caliber, but he's still a guy that had 14 tackles for loss last year. That's going to help a defensive line. 7 batted balls, 2 forced fumbles. And you heard Shefty and Louis mention Chandler Jones. Well, just think of what they can do, not only when those guys are now opposite each other, but putting those guys on the same side. You're going to now create a lot of issues for teams like the Rams and the 49ers and the Seahawks to go, how are we going to block these guys? What's our game plan? Who can block maybe one of these guys one-on-one? Do we have to go and send our offensive line all that way? So I like them being aggressive. I like the fact that Arizona's realizing we got a young quarterback who's cheap, and this is our opportunity to go make a run at a couple division titles. And they weren't going to do it just sitting back. And so now you go get J.J. Watt, and I promise you other free agents are watching there going, okay, we've seen in the past couple years, some teams have made some free agent moves and it's worked. Maybe I'll follow.
Yeah, you know, the other thing, too, about all this is the Vance Joseph piece in it. And since he's taken over for defensive coordinator in 2019, the Cardinals ranking 3rd in the league in blitz percentage behind only the Bucs. You know that Vance Joseph is really thrilled about this new duo. But how much does that affect J.J. Watt, just with the familiarity there? Dan.
Well, I mean, it's a big deal because you know what he can and cannot do. You talked about the pressure rate. They were also top 5 in sacks last year. So there's that comfort level of, JJ, where are you? Not only this, Laura, but like they'll be able to sit down and go, what days do you need off? Do you need a Wednesday off every other week to get your body right? Hey, JJ, can you help some of our younger players develop a little bit? Can you teach them some of the moves? You remember you used to do this stuff in this blitz package? Can we help a guy like Hassan Reddick or a guy like Zach Allen develop their games as well? So there's a lot that JJ is going to bring to that organization, but the familiarity with Vance Joseph is a huge part of it.
Yeah, Laura, in my time in personnel, I can just tell you this. Some of the most successful veteran player acquisitions that I was ever a part of involved players who had familiarity with coaches on the staff and or key players already on the football team. Because now that player comes in, you already know what they bring to the table. There isn't this feeling out period. You probably have talked extensively before they even step foot in the building, so you can hit the ground running right away. So I think that's a huge part of it. I wouldn't doubt at all that JJ really factored this into his decision, given the fact that he played on some very good defenses when Vance was the defensive back coach in Houston in the early part of his career. These are just simple, easy type of things that you have to consider when you're trying to forecast whether or not a player is going to pan out well with a new team.
Yeah, kind of interesting, too, guys. The Cardinals host the Texans in Arizona this coming season. Much more ahead on J.J. Watt here on NFL Live, but also the reason Alabama quarterback Mac Jones is getting compared to the...
Adding him to a defensive line and hopefully Chandler Jones comes back and plays healthy football. Like, this is now a defense that is adding pieces. Budda Baker are very active. Now him on that defensive end, and again, still playing really good football. So this is something that Arizona obviously feels that they have a very capable offense to go make a little bit of a playoff push, a little bit of a run, but can they solidify that defense just a little bit more? And I love the move by Arizona to go get a veteran that he can add, again, with Chandler Jones to that interior front seven on defense and kind of complement that offense just a little bit out west.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a shocker only because, with the assumption that JJ really wanted to go to a football team that could put him in position to win immediately. I thought there may have been better options, but there's no doubt that Arizona is on the come. We had a chance to look at them in Monday Night Football this year as well, and they do have a very aggressive defense in terms of philosophically how they like to get after you. Chandler Jones at one point in time was one of the best pass rushers in the NFL over the past, say, 5 or 6 years. And I have no reason to believe that he still cannot be. It'll be interesting to see what they do as far as Hassan Reddick, whether or not they can get him back in the fold, because he has really found his niche as an outside pass rusher in particular. He's not an off-the-ball linebacker. He is an edge pass rusher. And when you put J.J. Watt inside and use him and deploy him up and down the line of scrimmage, there's no question that they could be the type of team that if they can get you in third and long type of situations, they could be a problem for you. The question is, offensively, are they going to be able to take the next step? Is Kyler Murray going to be able to take the next step? Is Cliff Kingsbury going to be able to take the next step in terms of just making sure that the entire roster is continually headed in the right direction and playing at the highest level that they can possibly play at? I think it's a little bit of a gamble for JJ. I would not bet against him. I would not bet against the Cardinals because I like the direction that they're headed. I thought there were some more ready-made teams from a championship contention standpoint for him that he was considering. But I like the move. It makes the West all the more fun in the NFC. And I can't wait to see how this pans out.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say real quick, you think about this division as a whole, and it has been so difficult, and the Cardinals trying desperately to climb, and you have Kyler and all that. For the first time, we will be talking Matt Berry's Arizona Cardinals. We will be talking about the defensive side of the ball much more, and how much of a difference can that make with JJ there? We shall see. Yeah,
and you look at the Rams with Aaron Donald. They bring in Matthew Stafford because they were the ones that wanted to make a run at the Super Bowl. The guys, we were joking around about it maybe a couple of weeks ago, but it is worth pointing out and looking back at it now. DeAndre Hopkins, his former teammate with the Texans, put out that Instagram and tweet where he said, "Let's finish what we started." So perhaps there was a recruiting effort going on this entire time. But again, the breaking news, J.J. Watt has announced he will sign with the Arizona Cardinals. Gentlemen, we appreciate the best laid plans of where Watt should go. Watt just interrupted the entire segment and told us himself.
Thank you,
guys.
JJ.
Thanks. Yeah, good perspective. So when you look at J.J.Watt since 2011 and what he's been able to do, look at his NFL rank in all of these categories, Sage. Sacks, second. Forced fumbles, first. Fumble recoveries, first. Batted passes, first. Now, he has combated some injuries within that time frame since 2011. But again, the breaking news happening in the middle of a J.J. Watt segment is that J.J. Watt is signing with the Arizona Cardinals. Reports Watt is getting a 2-year, $31 million deal that includes $23 million